Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to introduce you to Revecast Connect, our cutting-edge integration solution designed to drive innovation through seamless API integrations. One of the standout features of Revecast Connect is that it's an official App Exchange app. This means our app has undergone Salesforce's rigorous security and compliance checks, ensuring it meets the highest standards of data protection and performance. We're proud to be aligned with key certifications, including FedRAMP and HIPAA compliance, among others, which guarantee that your data is handled with the utmost security and care. But the benefits don't stop there. Being an App Exchange app offers credibility and trust to our customers, whether or not they're using Salesforce or not. It demonstrates that Revecast Connect is built to integrate effortlessly with a wide range of platforms, making it a versatile solution for your integration needs. If you're considering Salesforce in the future, you'll be pleased to know that Revecast Connect is already perfectly aligned with the Salesforce ecosystem, paving the way for a smooth transition when the time comes. But it's also suitable for companies that are not using Salesforce currently or in extensive ways for their business. When a company wants to install Revecast Connect, all they must do is go to the App Exchange and click on the Get It Now. After installation, this is what Revecast Connect looks like sitting in a Salesforce org. Now you're probably wondering what some of the terms mean. What is an instance? What is an integration? So let's get some of those words defined. Okay, so what is an integration? When your company starts using Revecast Connect, you're provided with your own unique instance. The instance is like your own personal environment with Revecast Connect, specifically configured to meet your company's needs. It includes integrations, your data, and your business roles, all set up to ensure everything runs smoothly and securely. Now, one of the key benefits of having your own instance is isolation. Your instance operates independently from others, which means your data is completely secure and can't be accessed by anyone outside your organization. This isolation also means you can customize and scale your instance based on your specific requirements without worrying about impacting other users. For DevOps teams, this is a game changer. With your own instance, you have complete control over your integration environment. You can set up separate environments for development, testing, and production, and that's what I'm showing you in this example on the screen right here. You can see that we have both a staging environment and a production environment. Those are unique copies of the integrations that have been built already. Additionally, each instance on Revecast Connect is designed for scalability and flexibility. If your business grows and you need to handle more integrations, higher transaction volumes, or additional customization, your instance can scale accordingly. This flexibility allows your DevOps teams to stay agile and responsive to changing business needs without having any downtime or disruption to your operations. What I'm showing you right here is the dashboard experience of our application. You can see that I mentioned the instances, but it allows you to click through any of the other pieces of the application. You can go to the marketplace, which is for deploying additional instances. You can go directly to your instances. You can look at the executions of what has run. You can look at your components, your integrations that have been built, logs, and attachments. If you're wondering, what are the different components that are available for Revecast Connect? All you have to do is click on the Components tab, and you can see over 200 connectors. Now, you're probably wondering that because Revecast Connect is built in Salesforce, it must only be for Salesforce, but that is not true at all. There are over 200 connectors to different application systems, and I'll scroll through some of them right now. We have file connectors. We have file system connectors, we have Calendly connectors, we have collection tools that allow you to use some of the common collections used by developers when they're writing code. We have code component connectors, we have CSV connectors, we have ERP system connectors, FTP system connectors, and there's almost a connector for anything that you would need to do on the system. It is very unlikely with the amount of connectors that we have that you will not be able to integrate the systems that you have in consideration for integration. We even have HTTP connectors, so if there isn't an out-of-the-box connector, you are still able to develop a connection between your system and interact with the APIs. So Salesforce is only one of the 200 plus connectors that are available on our connector library. If you need to search for a specific connector, which I'll show you right now, all you have to do is search in the components. I'm going to search for Shopify. And when I open up Shopify, it'll show you all of the documentation about the specific connector for usage within your integration flows. So you can see there's a lot of actions. So if you want to count the products and see what that looks like, this is what the method looks like when you connect to this specific action of the Shopify connector. And so there's a lot of documentation about what is available for each type of integration you're looking to build. You'll see that there's also webhooks. So when you're building integrations within our platform, there's two different types. There's webhooks, which are real-time API-like integrations, and there are scheduled integrations, which you can run at a scheduled interval. All right, so now that I've shown you the components, I'm going to go back to the dashboard. And you can see that there's a couple of different things in here, marketplace instances, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you down to the actual integration builder and to see what it looks like to build integrations. Now, building integrations is merely a process of connecting the connectors that I just showed you. So I'll show you what these look like, and you'll see that in this specific integration, which I'm showing you, which is an integration with Fulfill and Salesforce. Fulfill is an ERP system. There are different flows within the system. So if you're familiar with Salesforce flows at all, it's a very similar process. It's built for developers to understand how to use this because it uses the same general logical flow that developers understand, but it's easy enough to use that non-developers can learn to use this as well. Learning this tool is incredibly easy. And I'll talk to you a little bit later about our documentation library that helps walk you through learning some of the nuances of the tool. All right, so you'll see in here we have fulfill products going to Salesforce. We have fulfill product inventory updates to Salesforce. We have order update to Salesforce, order shipment update to Salesforce, and then the orders from Salesforce to fulfill. This orders from Salesforce to fulfill is actually a webhook. So this is a real-time integration when data in Salesforce hits a certain stage in the order process. It actually takes the orders, the contacts, the order line items, the account information, and it pushes all of it in real time to an order in the ERP system. This is pretty significant because building a real-time integration is something that people want, but it's sometimes not what they get. They sometimes get a scheduled job, which has problems. Typically the best architecture and integration patterns are using real-time integrations for specific types of integration needs. You'll see in this integration, if I scroll down and look at some of the details, it has a logical flow. So it's using logic like if statements and branching statements, and it's using connectors to get information and get records. And it connects those connectors until it satisfies all the requirements of the integration of loading data wherever is needed. This specific integration receives, because it's an API call, it receives data from Salesforce, specifically order information, and it pushes that information into the ERP system of Fulfill. Now I'm going to show you a simpler integration. This is products setting to Salesforce. This is just a scheduled trigger. You can see that it runs daily. And this is a pretty easy example to understand. So it's using the raw HTTP get connector, and it's using a URL of the API for Fulfill, and it's getting some specific information, and you can see it's doing transformations, a divide, and then here it's doing a loop over the records, and it's getting the products from the API of Fulfill, and then eventually when it gets down here, it is in bulk generating a CSV file and using the Salesforce bulk API to upload data directly into Salesforce in bulk. So it's showing you an example where it's doing a bulk insert. And this specific example loads thousands of records when it runs. All right, so this is how you connect the different connectors to build an integration flow, but this is just half the power of using the tool. One of the most amazing things about this tool is it has a test runner that assists you with building the integrations as you're building them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to test runs, and I've already configured this integration with its credentials. So I've created the security key and consumer secret. I've already set up those configurations in my test runner. And so what I'm going to do is just run the integration, and you're going to see it's going to run right now. All right, so what you're seeing in here is the steps of the flow above. So if I scroll down and I show you the steps, you have your trigger. So right here, you have your get total products right here. So each step is showing up in our test runner, and it gives me the results of what happened to it. So it's showing green because the test was successful. And it's actually still running because it's doing the bulk upsert, and that just finished. All right, so now that everything's finished, I can actually look at the results. And what I'll do is I'll look at the bulk upsert and I'll see if that was successful. So if I look at the bulk upsert, it's actually showing me the output, and I can actually see the results of the insert into Salesforce, and I can see that they were true. I can look at every single one if needed to. I can also set up logic if there was failures to get the error messages, and I could do retries. I could log the errors if needed to. It's really under your complete control. Now, one of the great things about this test runner is once you start to run the test runner, it allows you to use these results that you're getting in the builder. So let me show you an example of that. Down here where it's generating the CSV, I'm going to click on it. And what you'll notice is when it's generating the CSV, what's in the reference pass is the results. So the results of a previous step of the get fulfill products bulk data is what's being used in here. So it's referencing this step, and it's getting the results, and that's what it's actually putting in here. So the way this works is when I click on this, I can actually see the results. So this was when I get the products data from Salesforce. So using the reference step, the results of the get fulfill products bulk data is what's being referenced in here. And so for example, if I want the results to be in the reference path of this step, when I'm configuring the component, I just click on the results and hit save. If I wanted something else to be in here, let's say I wanted one of the lines, like the name field, you can see how it changes to have name in here. So I'm able to use the results of my steps from the test runner and actually put those in the configurations of the component as I'm building. So running the test runner will help me configure the components as I'm building the integrations. Now, when I'm building these integrations and I've made changes, you can see that I have both a save and a publish here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to publish this. So when you publish these integrations, it allows them to be deployed into the instances that I showed you on the first screen. So I had a staging sandbox instance and a production instance. And so once you publish them, then they're available to be on the marketplace. And so I'm going to make this version marketplace available, and I'm going to save and publish. And that was version 38. So as it's saving, I will tell you that one of the huge benefits of this application is the versioning. It makes the DevOps process incredibly easy to manage. Okay, now that everything is published, I have the version history open, and you're going to notice that my version 38 is published, but you're going to notice that there's other versions in here as well. So and even versions published by other people. And so one of the amazing things about DevOps with this is, let's say you have staging on version 36, or staging on version 38, and you have production on version 36, and you have a bug that comes up and you need to fix in the specific version. If you need to, you can go back to previous versions. So as I click on the version, it's loading it in the integration builder right here, and so I can work on previous versions of the integration. And this makes it really easy if you make a mistake and you need to go back to a previous version to fix it. And any other reason you need to in DevOps, this is an incredibly nice feature to have. Now that I have my version published, what I'm actually going to do is take you back to the dashboard, because this is the simplest way to show you this. And if you remember, I showed you the staging environment and the production environment. So what I'm going to do is click on the staging environment. I'm going to show you something really interesting now that I've published. Now, my previous version was on version 36 of staging, and you can see that now it's telling me I have an update available to update the specific version. How the marketplace is used is this a very similar way. I can go to the marketplace. I can choose my integration, which is now on version 38, and I can reconfigure these versions in order to have the new environment, the new versioning. So when it opens up, it'll allow me now to update the version. So that's the way that the marketplace is used. Now, one of the things you're probably wondering is, once you have these integrations live, how do I look at logs or get alerts if something goes wrong with my integration? So what I'm going to do is actually go over to the logs tab. And the logs are absolutely incredible for this application. So you can see that I have logs, but I'm actually going to filter it down. I'm going to look at the last 24 hours, and I'm going to look for log severity error, and I'm going to look specifically at my staging sandbox. And you can see it's getting more detailed as well. I can go to a specific flow if I wanted to. But this is all I need. You can see that I actually have an error message in the last 24 hours because there was a 500 status code returned. This is more than likely the fulfill system was down when the integration tried to run. So you can actually configure alerts to happen when this occurs, which is phenomenal because it can proactively let you know that an error had occurred. But looking at this log, the logs give you so much information. When I go ahead and click on this log, it then opens up and it's going to show, I can actually say, show me in the execution context. So when this execution of the integration ran for this flow, what happened? So I open up the execution, it shows me step by step what happens in the log. If I click on the step outputs, it'll show me every single step if I want to of what happened in this particular execution. I can also hit replay and rerun the execution. So if it was something, maybe the system was down and it just needs to rerun, I can just click the replay execution if I choose to rerun this specific scheduled run of the job. And again, as I mentioned, you can have these, you can get alerts from this if you would like as well, and I'll show you that next. Now, what I'm showing you now about alerts is one of the newest features that we have of our application. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the alerts tab, and you're going to see that I have the alerts turned on. So what the alerts do is they actually create a record in this Salesforce environment called integration logs. If I click over to it, we don't have any in this environment because there hasn't been any errors that have occurred. But going back to the alerts, what you can do is you can activate these log files to show up in the same environment as our Connect application. And they have a retention policy. So you can decide how long you want to keep these log records after they've been created. And so you can see I have the retention policy set as monthly, but you can do weekly as well. So if you don't want to keep them as long, and then you can have a duration. So this is 1 month that we keep the alert records in this instance. And so the alerts only are created when there is an error that occurs inside of the integration. So it doesn't give you any success messages. that are created. It's not going to create a log record in the Salesforce environment for the success records, but it will for any error records. So what you can do is you can build a flow in Salesforce, or however you want. You can have it notify you in Slack. You can have it notify you through email, however you'd like to implement it. But it creates those error records directly in Salesforce, so you can control how you receive an alert from this system. Now, it doesn't give you the success records created in the system because those are found in our logs tab. If you want to review the success messages of the live integrations as they're running in execution, you can go to the logs tab and view those. But the error message specifically are put into these integration log records so that you can build alerts off of them. Now, what those look like, let me show you. This is a list view of error logs. So you can see that they are all giving error messages. So this is what happened if there was errors occurring repetitively. And then you can see in here another screenshot of what an actual error log looks like. It gives you the information that you can go to the log itself and look it up and find the details of what happened and look at the execution context. So once you get an alert, you can go to the integration log record, and then you can go to the Connect application, look up the log, find the execution context, and get more detail. All right, now the last thing I would like to show you in this demo is about how do you learn more about these features once you have the application. Well, there's two phenomenal things that are available to you. So the first thing I'm going to show you is our Revecast Success Center. So as a customer of Revecast Connect, you get access to the Revecast Success Center. And what this is documentation and training material to help you get started on our application, get to know some of the concepts, how to do best practices. And so it kind of serves as a way for us to release content that helps you and enables you on the tool. We also have our product team available to customers. We usually set up a Slack channel to have direct access. So if there's something that you can't figure out or don't know how to do, you can just ping the product team, ask them questions, I'll do it. Sometimes they'll just give you a link to the resource center that shows you how to do something. Other times they'll schedule a call with you, get on a call and help you figure it out. And they will assist you in enabling you in how to build your integration. So it's a phenomenal service that we offer. The other thing that we do in Revecast enablement, if we go back to the application and we go to integration, is when you're building a new integration and you say add integration, you're going to see that there's a selection here called view all templates. And so what we've done is we've added about 10 or 11 templates that assist you with different types of integrations that you may need to build in the tool. So what these serve as is examples to help you learn specific concepts. So this is looping over files. And so we show an example if they're stored in Dropbox, Amazon, SFTP. This is an example of how to loop over the files. This is a Gmail one. This is a Google Drive one. This is how to integrate with Salesforce. We have Shopify in here. We have how to do batch processing. And this shows webhooks as well. We have how to do a send notification to Slack. So we have lots of examples in there. So if you need to get an example of how to do something, most likely one of these templates will show you how to do it. And we add to this every single month. So every single month there's a new template that we've added that helps enable you. So we both add content to our resource center for training, and we add content to our templates to enable you, and we give out notifications of those new content materials that we create. Now the very last thing I'm going to show you to kind of wrap this up is to talk about the incredible pricing that we have. Now the pricing is incredibly affordable. You can see that it starts at $600 per company per month. We can do both monthly subscriptions and yearly subscriptions for whatever is required. And so this is really, the best integration tool that's available on the market. And that concludes my demo.